My name is Angela Tucker. Being adopted and raised by white parents created a unique lens through which I view the world, shape my identity, and think about the word family. I've created the Adopted Life series to provide a platform for adoptee voices and to give you, the viewer, an inside look on transracial adoption. This episode was filmed in Los Angeles, California, sponsored in part by Olive Crest. Join me as we hear from those currently navigating the adopted life. Today I chatted with 4 transracially adopted teens. Kevin and Adan are brothers with different biological parents, and Lily and Anika are sisters raised in the same adoptive family, and they share the same birth mother. You are Hispanic or Latina, or how do you?
I'm Mexican and I'm Black.
You're Mexican and Black?
I don't really know my full race, so I know I'm those two.
How do you know that?
Because my mom told me. She used to visit my birth mom, my biological mom. So not visit, but when we were younger, she would watch us with her.
Oh wow.
So
That's unique. Yeah. How does that feel to you, that your mom and your birth mom were together caring for you at certain times?
It feels overwhelming,
Really? Just to think about it?
Because they got to meet each other. My mom knows how she's like and stuff. I didn't really know her because I was younger and I didn't really understand that kind of stuff. So my mom knowing her made me feel happy because she actually got to know her and
Yes.
when she talks about her and stuff.
Yes.
So it makes me happy.
At first, I would always say, I'm Hispanic, I'm Latino or whatever. But now I'm Black.
You would say that you're Hispanic just to fit in more with your family, because
yes.
your mom is...
Mm-hmm. My mom, she's from Mérida, Yucatan. That's close to Cancun and places like that. I didn't want to be Black, I didn't want to be white, I wanted to be Hispanic. That's
fit in with your family.
To fit in with my family. That's who I wanted to be.
I don't really know specifically what I am, but from appearances, I just go with Latina. It's kind of awkward to talk about having 2 white parents and then you have to explain it to them the whole thing, the whole adoption thing, and some people don't even know about adoption. It's a sensitive thing to talk about.
Who is it sensitive for?
It's more sensitive for me personally because I felt like I lost a part of me.
I saw your documentary. It was something that inspired me a lot. I want to do that. I want to look for my parents.
I was going to ask, what do you know about your birth parents?
I know that they're from El Salvador, so I'm Salvadorian.
When you think about finding your birth parents someday, do you think more about your birth mother or your birth father, or both equally?
Equally, definitely.
Siblings?
Siblings, definitely. If I had siblings, wow. I'll definitely want to look if I have siblings.
Do you have a last name?
Yes, so I'm Miranda right now, but I was born as Adan Sandoval. So and that's one of my dreams too, to change my last name to Sandoval. I feel like it gives me an identity of who I am. And I'm excited to just start the journey, but I also have an open mind knowing that I may find them, I may not.
When you're mixed race or racially ambiguous or simply don't know your racial background, answering the question, "What are you?" is not just impossible to answer, but it's a question that can linger on for quite some time. It's one of those death by 1,000 cuts phenomenon. In psychology, they're called microaggressions. Not being able to answer simple questions can be an incentive to dig into our history to find out more about our roots.
The other siblings that I have, I always wonder if they wonder about us, if they even know about us at all. Because I know about them, but I don't know if they know about me or not.
Yeah.
My other siblings.
I have a birth sister, my birth brothers as well, who didn't know about me when I found them. And so then some of the conversations were about them not being adopted, and I was adopted, and so there was some jealousy.
Yeah. you kind of think it's like not fair that they get to stay and you don't. But on the other hand, I like it where I am now. So I feel comfortable both ways.
It's interesting that you went that way first, to say that you're jealous that they get to stay and you don't. So I think most people think of it the other way first, that you're lucky to have gotten adopted when they didn't.
Your adoptive mother, she never hid the truth from you, right?
She never hid the truth?
Yeah. No?
Are you feeling like, because you didn't know a lot, from 0 to 12, you had a false narrative about your racial identity. Did you know other things about yourself from 0 to 12? You knew that you were adopted at a week old.
I didn't know that about the whole adoption thing until I was 12. But
You didn't know you were adopted until you were 12.
Yeah.
So what changed at age 12 that prompted your mom to tell you that you were adopted?
With the whole bullying situation, that's when, I would tell her, Mom, these people keep telling me that I'm black, but, that's not true, right? And then I guess that's when she was like, it's time to tell my son that, he's actually adopted.
How'd you feel?
I was pretty mad. At first, I was pretty mad. I was like, why couldn't you have told me sooner? Maybe I actually wanted to know this stuff. I kept on being angry, like, Mom, you should have told me, and I wouldn't have looked like a fool in front of everyone telling them that I'm this and that when I'm actually, something else,
Like growing up, had to fend for myself a lot. Like the years I lived with my mom, she was rarely home with us. And so I think I've carried that like survival through life with me. It's kind of been like a pro and a con, like, because I'm always thinking of myself and how like I'm always need to be fed and I need to like do things, but then I remember like I don't need to do that anymore. At the dinner table, I still sit with my hand like
Guarding your food?
Guarding my food, like nobody's gonna touch my stuff. And I get really protective over my things.
Those early experiences that you had, they don't go away just because you're adopted.
No, they don't.
Lily, Anika, Kevin, and Adan reinforce what I continue to hear from adoptees, that knowing our truth, however hard or painful, is better than a false truth, half-truth, or nothing at all. For adoptees, gaps in our narratives can impact us in so many different ways.
If I will tell someone I was adopted, I will get a headache.
You'd get what?
A headache?
A headache?
Yeah.
Just telling somebody?
Yes. If I will tell someone, even a close friend, I'm adopted, and I will tell them my story, it was a major headache. And all these emotions that would just come to me, it was like, I will ask myself, why am I feeling like this? So then I will stay quiet for a long time and not tell no one I'm adopted.
And so now talking about it, will it feel that way, after we're finished?
No, definitely not. It makes me feel so much happy that I don't get those headaches. I can freely talk about it with anybody. No matter where I go, no matter where I am, I can talk about it. And that makes me feel, it makes me feel happy that I can do it.
I've never always been this, positive and cheerful. Like, I used to suffer from major depression. I guess recently started getting better from it. And I guess part of it was knowing that, what if like my actual mother, she actually said, oh, I can't take care of him, just take him, I don't want him. What if they didn't want me, I'm just scared of finding out the truth.
Before I met my birth mother, I had written a letter online on my blog to her, but I didn't know where she was. And I used the word unwanted. And once I met her, she talked about that and how hurtful that was to her. And she continues to say vehemently to me that I was never unwanted, that she always wanted me, but circumstances were such that she just couldn't do it. And that has meant the world to me, to be able to understand the difference,
Wow.
So when you say you're still trying to find them, what does that look like? Like, is it actively looking or just kind of thinking about it every once in a while?
Well, sometimes I think about it. It's weird, but I feel like connected to them somehow. Like, it's like this weird bond that even though I saw them when I was younger, and I lived with them, like I have like this connection, but like I just can't break it.
You're not the only person. I felt that.
I feel like for my parents now, like I think they may feel like if I find them, I'll want to go and like live with them.
Sometimes I feel awkward talking about this kind of stuff because I don't usually talk about it.
Does it feel awkward talking about it with me, like another person who was adopted as well?
No, because like you've been through the same thing, so I feel more comfortable. But like my mom, for instance, she hasn't been adopted or anything. She doesn't know what that kind of stuff is like. So, I mean, I can talk with her about it, but most of the time I don't really feel that comfortable.
What is the most uncomfortable part about it?
Just like the separation. I feel uncomfortable talking about how like I didn't really get to spend that much time with my mom, or I didn't really get to stay with her that much. The feeling of like wanting to be with my actual mom, but like the feeling of being with my mom too, that I have now. So like I want to be with both.
You want to be with both?
Yeah.
That's complicated. And so who have you told that to before?
My mom, my best friend.
A best friend who's not adopted?
She's adopted.
She is.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's partially why you could tell her that?
Yeah. Me and her sometimes talk about that kind of stuff.
Today, there were deep and complex sentiments shared by these courageous adoptees. My hope is that speaking about the adopted life was positive and liberating for them.
I did stay quiet for some years, and it was horrible going through headaches, going through all that. But that's because I decided not to talk about it. And I want people to know that, to feel free to talk about it. There's nothing wrong with being adopted whatsoever. People will not see you differently, and if they do, then they're not your friends.
How do you feel?
I feel very relieved.
Yay! I love that.
I feel like, I don't know, I've never talked about it with anybody, and it just feels like a weight lifted off my chest.
Wow. Do you feel like you would want to continue to have these conversations now that you've kind of
Definitely,
started?
like, as I continue to like know more about like my past life, I feel like it'd be easier to talk to if I've already been talking about it to other people.
I think that you can find people who will make space for you to talk about that sad part, but who also get what you're saying, that you love your parents and the life you have now. I think it's possible to do both.
I think so too, and I think it'll take some time, but definitely there'll be room for that.